Some mortals spend their limited lives desperately seeking dominion over other mortals, much as some plankton spend theirs floating mindlessly across the ocean surface, desperately seeking sunlight. Judging by the title, the King's Quest series promises a visceral depiction of this quixotic mortal quest for power and the brutal decisions necessary to dominate one's inferiors. Instead, the games appear to be colorful fairy tales centered around the cloying concepts of family and love. Even the so-called pinnacle of the series, King's Quest 6, here today. I require a replacement box. This is misprinted. It says, air today. The word should be here. Here today.
I believe that's intentional. It's a pun.
What?
Well, mortals often make jokes based on the different meanings of the same word or the similar sound of words with different meanings. In this case, the main character is a prince, hence the heir, and in Mortal
I
Danger...
did not ask for a plot summary. The box is misprinted. Have one of the thralls carry a message to Sierra Online Entertainment explaining the error.
I'm not sure they still exist.
Well, send a thrall somewhere. This is unacceptable. You realize these videos are made available to the public, do you not?
Most of the time, I think I'm the only one who realizes.
King's Quest 6, here today, gone tomorrow, is a... The box is also unnecessarily large and poorly assembled. Send a second thrall with an addendum to the message carried by the first thrall.
We should probably downplay the thralls.
The game sees mollycoddled mortal prince Alexander of Daventry journey to the mysterious land of the Green Isles in desperate pursuit of his casual acquaintance, Princess Casima, who is held hostage by the inept vizier Abdul al-Hazred, a name more familiar to mortals as the author of a low-brow, entry-level text on the arcane sciences. Alexander adventures across the whimsical isles, completing a series of utterly random tasks that somehow culminate in Casima's rescue and marriage. Or so it would seem. In truth, Alexander's world is no colorful playground, but rather a deadly morass of unwinnable situations and violent deaths. It falls to the player to uncover each of these tragic outcomes. The game consists of 56 hand-painted screens, among which 39 contain at least one pathway to death. This can be as simple as walking too far out to sea, or as complex as journeying all the way to the game's climax without the one item required to defeat the Wizier's malevolent djinn. Unfortunately, to unlock all possible deaths, players must solve a series of obtuse puzzles where bizarre reasoning prevails over common-sense solutions. For instance, early in the game, Alexander obtains a thick grimoire full of powerful spells. But instead of a logical solution, such as using the incantations contained within to rob the islanders of their souls and rule forever over their broken husks, the game expects players to intuit that they must cast one of 3 harmless spells instead. Logic is defied at every opportunity. But though logic fails, the game never veers from designer Roberta Williams' central theme, that weak mortals such as Alexander are utterly unworthy of immortality. Again and again, the prince is punished with death for his saccharine decency and sickening kindness through his unimaginable suffering. What is that?
It's just the theme song from the game. We always have game music in the background.
I thought that was added during the post-production process. I should not be able to hear it now.
Huh.
In any case, it is inappropriate for a game about the inevitability of death.
Yes, but game music really helps trigger nostalgia in mortals, and that drives up viewership.
Ah, yes, nostalgia. Nothing makes a mortal easier to exploit than to prey upon their cherished memories of a past that will never return. Play on. Alexander discovers death upon death upon death. Soon even the name of his lost love Cassima is forgotten, and no thought remains in his pain-addled mind save a desperate longing to be freed of his agony. Yet even the most agonizing death is a mercy compared to being trapped forever in a game that cannot be won. For should Alexander fail to pick up a variety of crucial items at certain points in the story, the game will simply become unwinnable, leaving the prince to wander a doomed world, blown about like a wraith caught in the winds of Froststorm Vale. Neglect to pluck the coins from the eyes of this corpse, for instance, and Alexander is left with no fee for the dread boatman Charon. The error is compounded if players save their game in this state, for they will be left with no alternative but to begin anew. It is in this unwinnable state that you mortals suffer every moment of your lives. For if there were some item that would save you, you long ago walked unseeing past its resting place. For king and peasant alike saved themselves into an unwinnable situation the moment they drew their first breath. Kingsquest 6, here today, gone tomorrow, makes it abundantly clear that to live as a mortal is the ultimate illogical puzzle. What is the status of those thralls?